tell us where you at, what happened, and what's your concern level?
So, talked to Goody. Obviously, had surgery in the offseason. Cleaned it up. Concern level, low. Really like where I'm at, especially compared to where I was just overall last year. I think he kind of hit it on the head. No expectations. Taking it every day at a time. Like where I'm at. Appreciate it, and excited to play again.
When did you have to have it done? Was it before the off-season program, in the interim here, before camp started?
Yeah, it was like right about when we started up again.
When you started up in
for OTAs, yeah.
Okay.
What happened after the Detroit game? He had mentioned that it didn't feel right the way that it responded to you getting in that game. What exactly was the issue there?
We all wanted to see where it was at, and when I went out there, I mean, I wouldn't say we were in the best situation to begin with, and then it was depending on how I was going to respond. Obviously didn't respond in the right direction, which was a huge bummer for me, not being able to play in a playoff game, but something unfortunate, and that's where that was.
Is it just frustrating that you're still dealing with this? Obviously, everybody heals differently. It's not your fault. You're working hard, but is it frustrating?
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's my nightmare that I have to live. I don't know how many days it's been, but I'm just excited to wake up one day.
You said day to day. Is there any sort of timeline, or just not putting yourself in that corner?
I've already been briefed by everyone. Tell me what y'all are going to say. I know everyone loves timelines. When I'm ready, I'll be out there. And what I can say is I do feel really good. I feel normal. My knee feels normal, and that's the biggest plus. Now it's just getting that normal feeling again when I play football. So that's with the load, the stress, the strength. But we're not really in an ACL issue. That's been actually a long time ago. We put that chapter to bed. It's just there's other issues that we're navigating around, things I'm learning, and it's been like I said, it's been my nightmare. So it's something I have to live with.
David,
Can you tell what those issues are?
About the good days, knowing that you feel good, but that you can't push yourself to a certain point that maybe you want to push yourself to progress.
You ever driven a sports car before? No. Okay. Well, imagine driving a sports car and keeping it in the first gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, you mentioned it feels normal now. Did at any point after the ACL surgery, did it also feel normal?
No.
This is the first time you felt that
I
since
thought
the original injury?
There's an idea of what I was fully expecting what new normal would be. And I was like, okay, it's not. I talked to numerous people that have gone through this before. And, Brian, someone I leaned on heavily. I'm like, what's the new normal? What's it like? And I thought, okay, this is just what I'm supposed to feel and how it's supposed to react. And now I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, okay. There is back to how it used to feel. So that's the most promising thing.
And that's where you are now, just to be clear.
You're
you felt before the ACL.
I would say I really enjoy how my knee functions, operates, and moves. It's not like I would say how I was dealing with it last year. It's hard to describe. I think only people who've gone through it maybe will have an idea, especially when it's not cooperating with you. It just didn't. There was just stuff. It almost felt like blockage. It just was weird. It was really weird.
So did you feel 100% going into that Detroit game?
No. But last year, my whole thing is there's no excuses. Like when I step between the white lines and put my jersey on, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've played sick. I've played with broken ribs before. I played with hip flexor. All that stuff. It's just there's no need for me to express it to any of y'all and give any fuel to any team that we're going against. So that's why I said last year, if I step between the white lines, I'm 100% ready to go. And that's the same thing when I step out there again this year.
Did you read playing against the Lions? Did you do any damage?
I'm not going to get into that. Like that's not something I'm just going to talk about.
So David, the timeline then, if you weren't able to go in the playoff game, and then this third procedure wasn't done until right around, you said OTAs started. What was happening in the interim there? Were you hoping that it would just feel better, or did something set you back while you were doing your off-season work?
No, I just did what I was told. Take time off, go away. I was like, great, okay. This is new for me. Go by a beach, don't do anything. I'm like, okay.
Dave, that was obviously a test in Detroit to see how the knee felt. Do you feel, and I don't want to say whether you're playing, do you feel like if you wouldn't have played, you would have had a chance realistically to
it's an if question. So you could write any answer you want.
What's your answer? I don't know how your knee feels.
I mean, I'm not going to get into ifs. That what I did is what I did, and that's where that was, and now we are right here.
You say your knees feel like you're feeling better when you're in age. So what's the next steps? The next steps they have to go through in order to play again? Just
Strength, load, not only physically but physiologically, just getting the knee joint to handle different stresses, different loads, and just getting it to play football again. So that's just slowly chipping away.
David, I know you can probably understand there's concern over, your future. Are you at all concerned? Will you play again?
No, I thought about this. It's a couple of things kind of went to my mind. It's actually a really good question. It was, I remember when I was playing, it sucks I have to say that, but I remember thinking, man, this is getting pretty easy. And it was fun. And I kind of would say, yeah, let's make it a little bit challenging. By God, I got that answer. So this is definitely the most challenging thing I've had to go through. But then I was recently talking to my wife, and I thought about how I started my career. And not even just here, but just when I put on pads, it was, no one really thought I'd be where I was. So it's kind of cool to feel that again. I mean, you can say or not say it, but I know that those questions are out there, and I'm like, this is cool because it's like I get to relive that same story again, and I made the choice back then. I get to make a choice again. So
that's a very clever answer, but it didn't really answer the question. So
well, the first time when I had everyone doubt me,
I'm just asking: can you write the same ending to this chapter that you did to that one?
Why?
I mean,
I can't. Play? I'm not a fortune teller. All I know is I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, and it's going to be fun because I get to control my narrative.
David, did you feel any pressure going into that Detroit game to play?
I'm not going to try and pin people against anyone, so I'm not answering that question.
About the mentality of you going into that game, not so much the physical part of it and how your knee felt out there, but every athlete talks about that first game back and how it's sort of a bug in the back of their mind, the injury. Was that a part of it at all for you, or were you able to put that out of your mind pretty well in Detroit?
Yeah, no, I mean, when there was no brace, I knew what I had going into it, and that sucked. I think, to my eyes, I see the plays where that was prevalent, where I just couldn't do certain things I wanted to do, but did a pretty good performance with that. Very limited snaps, just it wasn't right, and then the next days it just didn't. It responded in a way where, I mean, not even the game. I mean, I can't practice. So,
how do you feel about the team looking to you to get back and play at the level they're expecting?
They should have that expectation. I mean, I have that expectation. Just like I said, when I walk in between the white lines, I'm 100%. I'm good to go. It doesn't matter how much time I've had off. Mentally, I need to be sharp. Physically, I need to be ready to play. And there's a standard that I set for myself, let alone what I was taught about how the offensive line needs to play when I was here. And there's no drop off. So I expect to go out there and play my level and my brand of ball. And if not, then I need to take on and be accountable for where that is.
What's it been like for you? I mean, you just got married. Aaron said you're going to be a father. You're going through all this happy stuff in your personal life, while your professional life, you're having to deal with this. What's that balance been like for you?
It's been nice to lean on it. I wish I could always say all those days are happy days for me, because those are a lot of awesome things happening outside. So trying to separate those two. Like I said, it's been, I could talk about the situation. For me, it's like I've just been living a very long nightmare. But outside of work, things have been the exact opposite of it. So it's been like a fairy tale for me. So it's just making sure that the nightmare stays at work.
You said you've talked to a lot of people about how to deal with the new normal, but have they given you any advice on how to deal with the process emotionally, mentally?
Yeah, we have great outlets here. The team therapist, Dr. Carr, I mean, he's been fantastic. I've actually had a conversation with him, and didn't really feel like I needed it in the beginning, but I didn't know how long it was going to be, so eventually you run against the wall enough times, you're going to start cracking. So he's been a great outlet for me. Can say nothing but awesome things. And yeah, for mentally, this has been a lot. So I've always been able to kind of literally run away from this type of things. I've always loved training, sweating, playing football to kind of get out any type of stuff. When it's like you have to find new outlets and you cannot do any of that stuff, that's been, I'd say, the biggest challenge, but something that I have a new toolbox, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
What's some of the best advice you've been given on how to handle that?
Thanks for putting me on the spot. I mean, just finding, how I found new ways of outlets. Shoot. Reading, calming myself, knowing that enough is okay. I've always been someone who likes to do almost too much, so enough's okay. So just those are the first things that come to my mind.